How about we do that cup of coffee?
Yeah.
All right, so what is your coffee of choice these days?
Cafe latte.
A cafe latte.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think it's very predictable for the people working here when they see me.
And of course you guys have all these great treats. I think I might have to get one of these.
Yeah, that's very much the Norwegian type as well, right?
Is that
bakery?
What it is?
Yeah.
Everyone, this is Craig Durr from the Collab Collective, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Collaboration Cafe. Well, where am I right now? Well, I'm actually finding myself far away from where I normally am. I am in Oslo, Norway, and I'm actually here to visit with a friend who I had the chance to work on a panel with at InfoComm this past year. Norma Løvhaugen is actually the Director of Product Marketing, Product Strategy, and Design at Neat. Now, you might know Neat because they burst onto the scene about 2019, 2020 with a debut at Zoomtopia. And since then, they've been building some beautiful video conferencing devices. But I'm not as much here to talk about the devices. Norma, in terms of her role and responsibility, has some wonderful insights I think could be really interesting to you. Here within this Oslo area where we talked about Scandinavian design, we're gonna have a chance to visit and talk about what is core to design, what makes it human-centric, what is it that problems we're trying to solve. She's also gonna talk to us about some unique spaces she sees and why challenges such as the large rooms, which we had a chance to talk about at InfoComm, wind up creating good opportunity. Now, this is my first time in Oslo. I'm a little bit chilly. I think we're going to meet in here for a cup of coffee. So come with me. Let's go find Norma and have our cup of coffee. Norma, how are you doing?
Hi. Good to see you.
This weather is killing me right now, so I don't know what to do.
You know what they say, in Norway, there's no such thing as bad weather, it's only bad clothing.
Bad clothing?
So this is for you, Craig.
Is this?
Yeah.
I love this.
And
this
see,
is great.
It actually has a little dash of purple.
Look at that, and a neat logo there too, huh?
Yeah.
So does this make me feel like a local now?
Absolutely.
Well,
yeah, it's also a Norwegian clothing brand called 𝐒𝐬𝐧𝐃, which is known for their quality. So
I love it. Now, look, I get more than a cup of coffee. I get to become more like a local. That's even better there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me, right?
Of course.
You know, I was interested to actually introduce to our audience about your background and how you came to work in this industry. And it's interesting. You actually have been within the video conferencing industry for a long time, all the way back to the legacy of what Oslo is known for is Tamburg, right?
Exactly, yeah. I started in Tamburg in 2005, so June 2005, so more than 19 years.
You like remember the date?
Oh yes, yes. June 1st, yeah.
That's fantastic. And then from Tamburg, you were part of the Cisco team as they were acquired by Cisco as well?
Yes, exactly.
And then was it in 2000 that you moved over to Neat?
Yes, 2000, June 2000. I started at Neat, but I resigned from Cisco around February 2020.
I got you. Perfect.
Yeah, so we did the transition from Tamburg to Cisco, and at that time, I was actually project manager for Tamburg T3,
oh, really?
the immersive system.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so we were tasked, this was in Tamburg, we were tasked to make the ultimate experience of a meeting room, right?
Wow.
And we had
No
already had one immersive solution, the Xperia. I don't know if you remember.
But that was like the room size experience is what it was.
Three screens, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And then with the T3, it was like this whole room of an experience, right? With the wall, you had the blue wall behind,
That's
you had the
right.
walnut,
Oh
and
my gosh.
you had the lighting within the wall to have the best background for you know any person, and you know we had the table that were kind of floating in the air. It was supposed to look like that. We had lighting in the table to get the 3D effects.
Yeah.
The surface of the table actually had some reflection to also help with
the face lighting.
Yeah.
This is where I think the legacy, the history of what I would call this Scandinavian design started and had its origin of its influence on what we do within the video conferencing space, right?
Yes.
I mean, but that was incredible room. That was like a $250,000 room to get it installed in some of these locations, I think.
Exactly. And to your point there, we reference this product actually when we talk about what we do at Neat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because with Tamburg T3 it was an amazing experience, right? Everyone was seen and heard really well. But it was also a very staged experience.
Right.
We had legs in the table to make sure people were sitting where they're supposed to. And it was expensive, like you say, but the experience was amazing.
Right. You know what's a good experience? Coffee.
Oh, yeah, coffee.
Let's go get a cup of coffee. How about we go this way and get some?
Coffee is everyday happiness.
Yes, watch out for the water there. So you went from this opportunity to work on these oversized room experiences to where you are now talking about devices that actually enable these type of experiences as well, right?
Yes.
Yep, let's go through. So here we are right now. It's interesting. The last time that you and I had a chance to speak was at InfoComm, just this past year.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to have Norma be part of a panel that I was hosting. And the topic we were covering there was talking about large rooms, bespoke rooms. And that's an area that you're pretty passionate about, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Tell me about this idea of how these rooms are challenges these days and what's taking place.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. So right after the pandemic, the focus was a lot on smaller spaces, right? Desk, huddle rooms, many huddle rooms, and the video enable any small space.
Right.
And it still is, right? But what we're also seeing as a growing trend is that more and more people, when they come to the office, it's actually to spend time with their colleagues, right? In the same room. So then what happens is that there's many people in the same room.
It's not about just being within a box or four walls for a meeting experience, right?
Yeah.
This collaboration and meetings take place even with video conferencing outside of the space, right?
Exactly. And in different type of spaces. And they want to work together and collaborate together. And they want it to be dynamic, and they want video to adapt to what they do, and they not having to think about where's the camera and how do we make sure that we bring in far end, right?
Right. Yeah, so at that point in time, you were sharing with me a new product you guys were just coming out, which was Neat Center.
Yes.
Which was a multi-camera solution that sat in the center of the table paired with the front of the room, right?
Yes, exactly.
Is this a way to talk about these bespoke rooms, these rooms that are challenges?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and we like to talk about Neat Center as in bringing far end to the center of the conversation.
Okay.
Right? So that far end then can both see and hear when the conversation gravitates across the meeting room table or any type of the...
So if I speak to you, there might be an angle picked up. If I'm talking to the front of camera, they can still see me because we have intelligent camera switching taking place, right?
Exactly, and that's key, right? That when we look at far end, that it quickly jumps to the camera where far end is on the screen, because that way far end also feels that, and when they start talking and we look at them, that we're not looking away from them.
Well, you know, it's actually interesting because I think you as a company, Neat, although you're relatively a small company of like 350, 380 people, you're international in focus. I mean, you're here in Oslo, Norway, you have your design teams, you have your hardware teams here, but you're dealing with executives that are back in the US, sales teams and what have you, right? You're probably living and breathing this experience right now of trying to communicate through these odd, large spaces to people that aren't in the same room.
Yes, absolutely. So to your point, we're a large team here. We collaborate with people that are remote, whether it's engineering, some engineers sitting other places, or executives in the US. What's really good with Neat Center in that way, right, is that it's very flexible. So wherever we put it on the table or mount it in the ceiling, it helps us with that dynamic flow. We that are physically in the room, we don't have to think about where's the camera, right? Or it just, naturally captures and focuses in on people and leverage our Neat symmetry technology.
Got it.
As well as Neat boundary.
Interesting.
Yeah. This is, very secret how we do our...
Come on, this is great. Well, okay, but this is one of the spaces that you use for ideation. Come on in, let's see. You can show me what we can show. But this is like one of the spaces that your teams will take those common problems and break them down and ideate, right?
Yes, yes,
And
absolutely.
it's a safe space for them to try ideas, fail, learn, and try again, right?
Yes, absolutely. So here we do a lot of scenario testing. We set up our products in the type of scenario or use case that we want to solve for. We make early prototypes, and this way we can also test by leveraging.
I love it. Don't zoom in on this, but here's some of the ideas of the problems that we're solving here in the world right now. But even some of the ways that you guys do it. And what I love about that is you're doing it in an environment that is very natural. It's your own office as well too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But ideas start here. Ideas might begin here, but then you want to have a physical manifestation of it, right?
Yes.
And that could be the other area that you told me about before as well too, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's go work our way over that way.
Back a little. I wanna feel like way back when.
So what you mentioned is that you can go from these ideas of problem discovery to actually creating models to see what things are in place, right?
Yes.
And so this is where this other magic area was that you talked to me about before.
Yes. So our design team has their own room, their own kitchen. It's the design kitchen.
It's a design kitchen.
And they say that this is where they cook up the products.
Right, right.
This is where it starts. This is how they
Look
melt it all together.
Is
right?
this the fishbowl right here? We get to come in here?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's go in there. So I'm told.
So this is Marcus's home, right?
This is the design kitchen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're talking about this is where ideas come to bear, right? In terms of some manifestation. Like
Absolutely. Starting up
I
very
recognize this. This is the neat frame, but this is not the neat frame. This is actually cardboard. It's the
very early prototype.
right.
Another prototype.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this as well.
Just
too.
to test out to get the feel for the product. Understand more of the experience. Can this work? Can it not?
Right.
What's the eye contact?
And then here's another one, right? I know this
you
one.
might recognize that
This
one.
is the one that you and I spoke about. This is center, right?
Yeah.
And these are different forms of actually, I guess, the outward piece right here, right? So how much time do you wind up spending in here? Is this where the ideas come to bear? Is this part of the frustration? Is this part of the aha moments? What is this?
Yeah, so I don't spend that much time in here, but the design team spend a lot of time in here.
Got it.
And then we're invited to come and look and voice our opinion at sometimes. Yeah, and this is an early version of the purple first neat bar.
Oh.
You know, the design team were testing out different colors.
Yeah.
This is the Northern Light variation. Yeah.
From when we launched, we wanted to make a big splash. We
Yeah.
wanted this out of this world.
I've heard you guys refer to this as the purple rain version, right?
Yes.
Make it rain.
Yeah.
Purple rain.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great.
So very limited edition. So it was a splash with the purple.
It was it.
Purple
But
bars,
it goes
yeah.
back again to that same idea that we talked about. Thank you guys so much. The ethos of what you were doing here is around the idea of the full experience. Everything from the smallest details that you might see in terms of a curve of a monitor to the delighter of a color, right?
Yeah.
Bringing this all together in terms of a way that you can actually articulate a product that's really unique to the market.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also what the market recognizes as neat design and neat quality.
Right.
I think that comes down to that thoroughness of our design team, where they really go into all details and they don't give up. We're kind of joking, you know, at one time, Simon, one of the other designers, he came to me with it was like this plate and there was 4 gray fabric samples on it. And he said, do you think the variation of these are okay? And you know, I couldn't see any difference. I was like, are you kidding me? Looked like the same gray to me. But for him, right, he could see that, oh, there's some more yellow in this one. There's some more kind of pattern in this one.
Right.
And, you know, he pointed, I still couldn't see, but it has to do with that overall quality, because we want all our products to have the exact same design, right?
Sure.
If a customer buys products from us and they stand next to each other, we don't want to have variations in the gray of those products, right?
Makes sense.
So his point is is spot on, right? It's just that you have to have the designer's eye to actually see it.
I love that.
Go back a little. I wanna feel like way back when.
So I'm going to put you on the spot with a question maybe you weren't expecting here, okay? Mm-hmm. I've used this word, but I'm curious how you talk about it. People have used this word ethos to describe what you guys have here.
Yeah.
And it's something I've noticed on this trip, that it's almost the heritage of your Scandinavian background that allows you to have this eye for that detail you just described.
Yeah.
This need for simplicity and functionality, but still aesthetic beauty. Mm-hmm. How do you describe the ethos when you talk to people? Yeah, let's go sit.
So, so the design team, they call this Neat by Design.
Okay.
And what they then refer to is that the essence of what they do is providing value for the user.
Okay.
That's the core of it. And then there's all about the simplicity, which is also something that I believe is pretty unique to Neat, and the way that we have kind of harnessed that experience.
Sure.
Everything from, you receive the box, or even starting before that, right? You buy from us. That should be simple.
Right.
So the whole customer journey should be designed in a good way,
Okay.
right? But then also the first impression when you actually receive a product from us should be so easy to unpack, set up, everything's available, we guide you, and that's been, I think that gives a really solid first impression, and then we need to keep that up, right, for the user and for our customers.
So it's almost even a commitment to that end user, that IT administrator who's touching the products, in addition to that buyer and what have you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no shortage of puns of why the company's called Neat. It's neat by design.
Exactly.
Neat by
It
experience.
means clean, tidy. It comes with a name in a way. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, so you've been here at this point in time now. You guys are coming on to 5 years as being a company?
Yes.
And I think you are hitting a point now where the name's known in the market. I think that you've got products in some great people's hands. Like I've even seen a picture of Joe Biden, our U.S. president, using the Neat bar.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of other things
He's been
as well.
a proud user on Twitter on that. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but you're at this instrumental point. How do you grow from here? What's the next steps? What are you thinking about in terms of taking this Neat idea to more people, more experiences, more places, more rooms, if you will?
Yeah, great question. So at the core of what we do, we also want to keep our portfolio very tight. We don't want too many products, but we want to make sure that we have a product covering the range of spaces that our customers have. So in all our products, we build in capabilities so that it can easily adapt to different type of use cases and easily adapt to different type of deployments.
Okay.
And we also view our products as building blocks, right?
Okay.
So that they can be combined, and with features that are coming out now with Neat Share, where you both have App Hub. App Hub is also part of that, right? That we provide even more value to our customers, where they can leverage their favorite apps. Any team can use their apps of choice, so that then they can leverage our products for more than video conferencing.
Okay. All right.
And then how we combine then App Hub with, for instance, Zoom or Teams.
Yeah.
We have a feature coming that's called Neat Share, where you can share from App Hub into Zoom and Teams. And same with Neat Center, right? Neat Center is a building block that helps our customers deploy in different type of spaces, but still bring, far into the center of the conversation, really good audio and video capabilities.
It's right back to the conversation we had before coffee.
Yes, exactly.
It's it. So I think I see this really great, wonderful pattern where if you are taking this idea of simplicity, of design, of aesthetics, of even a high quality product, and now expanding it across the portfolio to different spots. And it's not just about devices per se, but you're getting into the experiential side as this as well, right? In the expansion?
Exactly. Yeah. So good point. Yeah. So it's providing more flexibility both when it comes to different type of spaces and custom spaces, but also more flexibility in terms of applications to run on our devices and how to leverage them. So with all of that, we hope to provide, the value for different type of workflow and different ways of working
Right.
For our customers. And where our products, both the simplicity, and we also want the experiences to be dynamic and as much as possible automatic, right? So using our intelligence to understand what is the scenario going on now, and how can we make sure that we provide the best experience, right? Both when it comes to how we capture people on video, as well as how we address dynamic switching between microphones on audio side, right?
Yeah, and all that taking place. All right.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to give you the chance to close out this conversation. We're going to look into our crystal ball,
Yeah.
and we're going to try and understand what Norma and her team are thinking about in the future. So we saw your space where you actually look at problems and you try and find interesting solutions around them, where you ideate, where you create solutions and put them in space right now. What do you think is some of the upcoming challenges around workplace collaboration and communication? What are some of the key things that you're feeling are challenges to be solved here in the future?
Yeah, very good question.
You weren't expecting that one, see?
No, I wasn't. But I think it comes down to, the fundament of what we do, right? So at the core of our expertise is help bring people together, right?
Okay.
And we believe that teams that have really good communication, and with good communication, we believe it's also that non-verbal communication, right?
Okay.
That everyone can see who's nodding, who's paying attention, who's smiling, as well as good audio where everyone can naturally chime in and say and yes, and no one is suppressed.
Right.
And when that conversation just floats very naturally, regardless of if you're physically together, then what happens is that teams build trust, they build empathy, and with that, they are also, more. It's more easy to bring up concerns or ideas, etc.
So I've heard it referred to as having psychological safety, and the idea at the point in time that I feel that I'm connected to you, whether we're in the same room or across the world, Oslo back to Austin, Texas, where I'm from.
Yes.
If we create that environment that has this element of psychological safety, I think that we can actually break down some barriers, collaborate, communicate, solve problems together.
Exactly. Yeah. And then how do we keep on evolving there, right? How do we, when spaces are more fluid in a way.
Right. I mean, look at this beautiful office we're moving through right now, right?
Exactly.
Open office spaces, benching taking place, wonderful behind the curtain magic spaces.
Exactly. So it's more and more different type of spaces. It's not that predictable meeting room where you have like people are sitting around the table. It's a lot more different type of shaped spaces, right? And we believe that one thing is the meeting, right? Where you have like a formal agenda, you have a plan, what you want to go through. But then you have the other aspect of what makes a good team, and that's the conversations that's happening before the meeting, after the meeting, by the coffee machine. And how do we bridge those roles?